anytime. I mean, and it's right in between La Plata and Waldorf.
Yeah.
So that is something, and he's asked to do that. I mean, see, the thing for me is this: I've had so many people say to me, Hammad, can we do an event for you, a fundraiser for you, whatever? And I love that, and that's great. I'll be very honest with you, and I would love to have fundraisers and all. That's great. I will tell you this: money is not really my focus right now. And I know it sounds crazy because as a politician, nobody says that. I mean, like I said, I believe in this. I wouldn't run it, whatever. I'm putting my own money up in this because I want this. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Although, hey, don't you didn't hear it from me. Obviously, anybody that wants to do a little coffee or a little fundraiser, I'll take it. I mean, it helps. But really, what I need is this: I need people. I need people. I need bodies. And one thing we haven't talked about, which is going to be huge, other than knocking on doors and making phone calls and all that, is, I need 2 people in every voting precinct in Charles County on primary day, September 14th. And that's a lot of people. And that's probably that's adding up there. I don't know how many voting districts.
38 polling.
What's that now?
38 polling places.
I mean, so that's an army. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but like I said, I need that. You need at least one person there, but I'd like to have 2, so when one person wants to go get lunch or do whatever, you can't expect somebody to be there, or whatever. But if we can start now and get those people, and like I said, if you can get me and you get me into your house, I promise you I can make some people believers. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like I said, if we can build on that and bring in friends, that's what we need, and so that's what we're looking to do. And it's down the road, but we can do this. Okay. Again, are there any other questions? Or anybody want to say anything in terms of just about the position, about the campaign, about anything?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Uh-oh, man.
I'm sorry. Somebody who doesn't need the signature.
That's fine. Oh, that's right. Come on now.
All right. I can keep this in both counties. Anyway, one of the things I'm thinking about is there's this new movement about this whole big justice thing that's coming down that looks about the fact that people are not having representation.
Yeah.
But they say that most people who are arrested, is it 80%, cannot afford representation.
Yeah.
And let's face it, you've been there for a lot of people who are in that position. I mean, I'm wondering if there's anything that you can do in terms of a particular model or something that's a simple phrase that says why you are the man for the people. Something that's real simple.
Well, look, I mean, it's a great point. I mean, I know our slogan is "Prosecutor for the People." I mean,
a new prosecutor for all the people.
That's
yes,
right. We're working at.
That's what we
want to make sure it's inclusive.
But people don't really know what prosecutor means, except that's the guy that locks me up. And I think that you're a little bit different than that. I mean, you spent your whole reputation making sure that people get justice. And I think that if you put yourself as just being a prosecutor, you might lose half of your group.
Well, I tell you, it's interesting you say that, because unfortunately what happens is that people who run for state's attorney, historically, what's going on, young man, how you doing? Here we go. And that's a young man that we're definitely giving a t-shirt to, okay? And I know why he came. He's our neighbor also. This is Ishmael. Hey, the food is right there, samosas. Anytime we have samosas, he gets one, that's for sure. He's mad. Look, this is what's interesting. This is a very interesting comment that she's made here. People who run for state's attorney, generally speaking, you run and saying, I'm going to be the meanest and the nastiest prosecutor. I'm going to lock up the most people and whatever. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. There is some truth to that, okay? Because once you're state's attorney, and I mean this, and I won't shy away from it, those people who commit serious violent felonies, who commit crimes with handguns, who molest children, I mean, I'm just going to give you some of the worst examples.
The bad guys.
But the bad guys, those people deserve to go to jail for as long as I can absolutely put them, and I'll put whatever resources in my office to make sure that happens. Okay, I mean, that's just, you have to tell people, that's my job, that's the #1 priority. Having said that, the reason that I love being a prosecutor, the reason that I went from law school to become a prosecutor, okay, was because I gave you a story. This is kind of hokey, but this is the truth. I used to be on a death penalty workshop, or kind of like a little death penalty panel, really, as a student when I was in law school. Because in Virginia, it's very high that they use the death penalty, and we were defending people who were on death row. And I used to work on that. I was the only person that was on there, that wasn't necessarily pro or against death penalty. I was just kind of like, look, all I know is if the state is going to take someone's life, I want to do whatever I can to make sure that person is represented by the best people around. I mean, that's just what I felt. And when I was on this panel, I had a professor of mine who was a very kind of liberal guy who hated the death penalty. In fact, he left America because he couldn't tolerate the fact that there was death penalty. He moved to Canada. And this is a man who was a Silver Star in Vietnam veteran. This is not like this is a guy that didn't love his country. He just felt it was one of those things emotionally and morally he couldn't be a part of. And so he said to me, and the classmates that I had who were part of this death penalty clinic, okay, in law school, were very liberal. They were very much against the death penalty. And I really hadn't made up my mind. I said, look, I see some benefit, I see some problems with it. And when he said to me, and all of them wanted to be public defenders, they all wanted to be defense attorneys. And what he said to me was, and I said, well, you know, I mean, I really wouldn't mind being a defense attorney. I think it's a great thing. But I just think it's also a good thing to be a prosecutor because I just think, you know, you can really do a lot of good there. And he said to me, this is, you know, Professor Bill Geimer. And he said to me, if you really want to do justice, if you really want to help people, it's not by being a defense attorney. It's by being a prosecutor, but a good prosecutor. And why is that? He said that because you have, as a prosecutor, something you don't have as a judge, something you don't have as a defense attorney. As a defense attorney, you are a hired gun. I am one right now, and I know what it's like. I don't care how bad my client is. If I'm his attorney, I'll do whatever it takes to get him off. It's just what it is, as long as it's not ethically wrong, obviously. Okay, but you do whatever it is, even if you know the guy's guilty. You have to defend him. That's our Constitution. It's a system. Judges are bound by guidelines and by weighing evidence, and they have to make a decision based on the law. It is only the state's attorney, only the prosecutor in our criminal justice system that has absolute 100% discretion. It is the prosecutor that decides, you know what? These are bad charges. You know what? This is not how I run my office. Maybe this guy is guilty, but I think we illegally obtained this evidence. You get rid of that case. And even if you take a beating in the paper, you do that because that's the Constitution, and that's what I'm sworn to protect. Okay? You look at the bad guys, you go after the bad guys. The people that you're not sure about, if you're not sure if the guy's guilty, you don't prosecute him. That's just how I look at it.
That, I think, is the angle you need to pull. Everyone knows that as a prosecutor, your job is to go after the toughest criminals.
Sure.
I think what is refreshing that you bring in the edge, that you need to push more, that you're going to go hard after those people, especially to the shifting demographics in this area, because I know you look at the demographics. Higher population of African Americans. We all know the statistics with the history of African Americans in law enforcement and prosecution. The way to get them out is to say, we're not just going to blanket you and charge you and put you to jail. The way to get them out is to say, we're going to look at what you just said, is we're going to look at giving the best possible case, and also giving good public defenders. You said that.
Right.
That's what they need to hear first.
Right.
You almost don't even need to say the other part. They know you're going to do it.
Right.
They know you're going to go after them.
But it's competition.
Yeah. But I think the thing is that you have to go to places they may not go. You need to go to beauty shops, barber parlors. You need to go to places where people traditionally feel underserved, and not just as a lip service. Because I know you actually mean it. But you, by going into where they're comfortable and putting yourself almost a little bit at defensive, then they're going to give you heck. But they're going to say, really, he's down. He can come in here and he can handle this.
Well,
and they're going to talk to their friends.
Look, I mean, what you just said is exciting to me because I need your help. See, God, I don't go to beauty parlors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are.
I mean, I go.
It just says what you got.
Mom, if you go to a beauty parlor, we're coming.
Is that right? It's awesome. I mean, Virginia, yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask you, I think everything you're saying here is excellent, but is there also something that you could have some of your staff, when you get the position, to educate the young people, to inform them more of what's going on, what could happen if they don't watch themselves and they commit a crime,
Yeah.
to educate them more and always say, I want to give people